everybody. Today's parasha is Vayeshev. It's about Joseph and about him going to Egypt. And I want to start with an unusual place, something that maybe we don't look at that much, but it's something that's really applicable to what's happening in the world right at the moment. And Joseph is journeying to find his brothers, and a man sees him and says, "What are you looking for?" And Joseph says, "I'm looking for my brothers." And in Hebrew, the word that he uses for I in this case is Anochi, and Anochi is the higher self. Now, which or what higher self is looking for one's brothers? And I'd like to quote from a parasha that my rabbi, the great and learned Dr. Lionel Mirvis, may his name be for blessing, says, "Unhappy in his loneliness, Joseph was looking for his brothers who would care for him and be his friends and companions. The stranger had asked, 'What are you looking for?' And Joseph had answered, 'I'm looking for brotherhood.' As members of the human race, we are all brothers, but far too many of us are lonely. Like Joseph, we seek brotherhood. And we have social distancing. We're forced to be apart. We look at photographs of ourselves at parties 2 years ago, where we're all next to each other and hugging each other and kissing and being happy. Together, brothers and sisters. All together. And here Joseph is looking for his family, is looking for his brotherhood. I'm looking for my brothers. My higher self is looking for my brothers. And let's consider the higher self, because over here, this was verse 15 and 16 of Genesis chapter 37. And in 13 it says, "And Israel said to Joseph, 'Please go and check up on your brothers.' And after the brothers send Joseph into slavery, they sell him as a slave. They take his coat of many colors that Israel has made for him, and they dip it in the blood and they take it back. And when they give the coat to Joseph's father and the other 11's father, the 12 of them, minus one, it says, Jacob rent his garments. And it's interesting for me because Israel sent Joseph and Jacob rent his garments. And as we know from before, Jacob is in Egypt unenlightened and Israel is enlightened. And Ani is our normal self, I, but Anochi is our higher self. And so even though Jacob rent his garments, he knew because of his enlightenment that his son was going to save him. And how did he know this? He was the one person who knew this. One of the three greats in this particular segment of world history. Abraham, Isaac and Jacob becomes Israel. And if we go back further, we need to find out why his brothers hated him so much. And it's because Joseph dreamed. He dreamed of his brothers bowing down to him, and he told his brothers. And his brothers didn't interrogate him and say, "What do you mean? What's going on?" And this is the problem with the dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I'm an idealist, but I'm also a realist. I know we need to do single step. We're not going to get where we need to go in one leap, as much as I'd like that, as much as I'd like to open my window tomorrow morning, open my curtain after I wake up and see the world using renewable energy, I know it's not a single step process. But every day that we make a journey to move away from the pollution, when we stop invaders from entering our body so we don't have to fight them with drugs because we made our environment healthy, I dream of that possibility, and my long-term dreams are still as valid today as they were 20, 30, 40 years ago when I had them. But the dreamer is ridiculed. The dreamer is made to feel bad. The dreamer is made to look like an idiot. And even Edison and so on, and those kinds of people who had to do 1,000 experiments to make the light bulb work. Even when he was on the ninth, imagine, he did one with scientist, 2 scientists, 3 scientists, he gets to 50. And his friends start shunning him. Who wants to be with this guy? All he wants to do is make a light bulb. And imagine he gets to 250. And there's even less people, he doesn't have any friends anymore. And when we read about Google, when Google were looking for money initially, and I think they went to 250 sources of funding before they found funding. You read of even Wilbur Smith, who just died recently. I think he submitted his first book 80 times before it was accepted. If you have a dream, you've got to pursue your dream. I've got a dream that South Africa can be the strongest and greatest and best and most wonderful place to live in the whole world, and I won't give up on that dream. Just because I've tried for 20 years or 22 years to make things better, or even longer. I came back to South Africa in 1995, 26 years ago. And I still believe in South Africa, and I still believe in the people, and I still believe in the environment, and I still believe that the government will see the light, and I still believe the dreamer has a stronger belief than anyone. The dreamer has a stronger belief than anyone. The dreamer has a stronger faith than anyone. The dreamer never loses his dream. The dreamer never loses her dream. Israel sends Joseph to look for his brothers. And he says, Anochi, my higher self, is looking for my brothers. Because even though my brothers hate me, and I know in my heart, I still have the thing that maybe they'll say to me, what is it that you're dreaming? No one ever asked me. And when the brothers give the coat with blood on it to the father, Jacob tears his clothes and grieves his son. But Israel knows that Joseph will save them, because Israel understood the dreams. And when a dreamer is in your midst and he's telling you the dreams, don't push him away or her away. Listen to those dreams carefully, because there's so many of us who have dreams and we know what we want, and we know where we want to be, and we know where we want to go, but we keep being pushed aside. Allow the dreamer to dream. Sit with the dreamer. Think with the dreamer. Explore with the dreamer. In business, it's called a vision. A vision and a dream are exactly the same thing. It's just that you can't say, oh, Apple's got a dream. Of course Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak had a dream. But from a business point of view, we call it a vision. And the vision never changes. It's always the same. You might have a mission for 5 years. You might have objectives. You might have critical success factors. You might have all those strategic things. but your dream is always your dream. And we mustn't push people away from their dreams, because it's the dreamer who implements his dream, who struggles and never gives up, even when pushed down 200 times or 1,000 times, or for 20 years, as I have. Never gives up, keeps trying new avenues, keeps trying new ways, so his Anochi, his higher self, can bring enlightenment and the possibility of a different, more healthy, kinder, more generous, environmentally friendly world. Thank you.